Hello, I'm on episode number 146, I do believe, of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. This is going to be Monday Night Raw. No, it isn't. It's going to be Friday Night SmackDown for Week 3, June 2021. And the road to the SmackDown exclusive Great American Bash is still in full effect. Without any further ado, let's jump straight into the show. Think twice before you pounce. Thinking over whether or not it's the moment. Better off stepping aside, burning with vengeance and solid revive. Daredevil, you pick the wall. If you think you could get away, you have us to repay. So we open with like a recap of the main event last week, and then Cesaro would come to the ring to address his WWE Championship opportunity against Samoa Joe at the upcoming pay-per-view. And he's talking about how he knows it took Joe so long to become the champion, but it took Cesaro just as long, so Joe can have his month-long title reign, but it's going to come to an end at the Bash when Cesaro becomes the new champion. Randy Orton then interrupts him, and he's like, Cesaro, congratulations, you won that hard-fought triple threat match last week, and you have earned a future opportunity at the WWE Championship, but let's be honest, you shouldn't be next in line. It should be me. Because Karrion Kross, again, he cheated to beat me at Money in the Bank, so not a Judgment Day even, so I need to get my fair shake and my fair rematch after I held that championship for 4 months, or 5 months. I beat John Cena at WrestleMania, so if anyone deserves a rematch for it, it's me. And so I was like, okay then, well I won the rematch, I won the match fair and square, and I'm going back to American Bash whether you want to admit it or not, Randy. But here's what I'll do. Since you make a couple of valid points, I will I'll deface you in the main event tonight, and if you win, we'll have a triple threat match, just like Raw are doing, just like the women are doing. Me, you, and Joe, triple threat match for the WWE Championship. And then Randy's like, okay, I accept. So that's the main event, will be Randy Orton versus Cesaro. 75, this one-off match we advertised last week. Drew Gulak defeats Dijakovic in 10:33 with a roll-up, it says, but it would be like a cradle. It wouldn't be an actual roll-up. It'd just be like Dijakovic would try and grab him and pick him up. Gulak would just cradle him, pin him down to the mat, 1, 2, 3 to get the win. 72 for both men, so 75 is actually pretty good. And yeah, Drew Gulak with a big win here on SmackDown. Pierce is then backstage when Big E approaches him, and he's like, you know, I want AJ Styles, and I want him at the Great American Bash. Pierce is like, okay, I kind of saw this coming, E, but yeah. And then Malcolm Bivens walks in, he's like, okay, Big E, you think you're so good again? You think you're, like, better than me? We're pretty much the same person. We're both astonishingly ripped, astonishingly handsome, great, charismatic studs. So, I'm sure you can work for the proposition that I'm going to give you. Because AJ Styles, he would like to wrestle you as well, but again, somebody of AJ Styles' caliber, you have to prove that you're on his level. So how about next week? If you can beat AJ Styles' Colossus Omos, then you get your match with AJ at the Great American Bash. What do you say to that, Big E? And he's like, oh, tell Omos he's on. I ain't going to back down from anyone to get my hands on AJ after what he did to my knee. And I'll take on any wall, even if it's 7'3", 200 whatever pounds that Omos is. So tell him to bring his working boots next week, because I'm going to put him down. So Big E versus Omos next week on SmackDown. 62 rated tag team match. The Mean Girls are in action against Bayley and Santana Garrett in a losing effort. Santana Garrett beats Danny Jordan with a handspring moonsault. Bayley gets a 64, a 44 for Santana, a 38 for Danny Jordan, and a 52 for Carmella. Yeah, so Bayley and Santana Garrett do get another tag team win. Then after the match, they're celebrating when everything stops. And Santana's looking happy at Bayley. Bayley sort of acknowledges, like, okay, yeah, we did pretty good. But Bayley's still a bit of, like, the new Bayley. Like, the current Bayley. She's not really happy-go-lucky. She's just a good guy, but similar to the real-life Bayley. And Santana Garrett, she pulls her arms out and she goes, come on. Bayley's like, what? And she's like, come on, give us a hug. And Bayley's like, no, I don't do that anymore. And then she's like, come on. And the crowd's like, eking Bayley on, going, yes, 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 hug. Because they want that brief look at the hug. Because the last 2 times she pulled the headband out, they erupted. So they want her to come back to the hug, but then of course she teased going for the hug, but then get jumped from behind by Nikki Cross, Kaylee Ray, take both women down for big heat. Kaylee Ray takes out Bayley, Nikki Cross takes out Santana Garrett, and they hold the tag team titles high. And they say that they may be busy with J-Flow on Raw, but they're not busy here on Fridays. So they need to put Bayley and Santana in line to remind them where they are in the pecking order. Another message promo in the ring. He's like, oh, Shinsuke. So, you didn't learn your lesson, did you? See, I'm not just saying things just to try and get under your skin. I mean everything I say. You should have just accepted my gratitude and moved on. But instead you're trying to get your championship back, the championship that you don't want, the championship that they don't want you to have. The United States Championship, if you really cared about this title, you'd stop coming after me because you know it's in the right hands now. In the hands of Mustafa Ali. And as for Ray and Dominic, don't know what they're doing. I've already beat both of them for the US title, so they can sort of get out of my hair whenever they want. And Mia Yim, why did she attack Ember Moon? I don't know. Let's ask her. Mia, what's your issue with Ember Moon? And Mia's like, I've got no issue with Ember Moon. And like, well, there you have it, folks. So stop stirring the pot on your little dirt sheets. There's nothing going on. The message is being delivered. And you've got to get on board or get left behind. Then the Mysterios come out. And then Ray's like, okay, well, you may have beaten me and my son in these US title matches the last 2 weeks, but we want a match with you at the pay-per-view. And Ali's like, no, I've already beaten you. And then Ray's like, no, not with you. And he points at Dabba-Kato and Kushida. He's like, you two versus us two at the pay-per-view in a tag team match. And then Ray and Kushida, one-on-one, up next. Gets a 77. Rey Mysterio beats Kushida with a 619 into a drop into dime in 11:47. I think that's the first time a message guy has lost since the faction debuted. So that's a fun fact. They don't click, they still get a 77. Ray gets a 69 and a 65 for Kushida. So yeah, that's still pretty good. Then after the match, Dabba-Kato gets into the ring. He goes for a double choke slam on both the Mysterios when Nakamura runs out. Low blows him. Shades of the old Shinsuke Nutcracker. And then double drop kick to the back of Dabba-Kato. He goes to the second ropes. And they hit a double 619. And then Ali, he goes to leave. But Reginald, of all people, walks out onto the ramp. And sort of like tells him to turn around. Ali has to go back into the ring where he's also dropped with a 619. And then Reginald gets into the ring. He claps his hand at Shinsuke Nakamura. He says, see, we told you this whole time. And then Shinsuke lays Reggie out of a Kinshasa. And he's like, I don't need your help. He slides out under the bottom rope. And the Mysterio sort of just look on, laughing at Reggie's expense. Backstage segment, just a quick interview with the Dirty Dogs, Ziggler and Roode. They've not really been doing much as of late, but they need to remind the world that they are the Dirty Dogs, the dirtiest dogs in all of the game. Top dogs. And they're going to be the head of the SmackDown Tag Team Division sooner again. Then the Street Profits walk in, they're like, fam, we may have lost to the Vikings and they're getting their shot at the pay-per-view, but we're still here and we still want the same goal as that, you pair of dogs. So how about next week, 2-on-2, Street Profits and the Dirty Dogs? And they're like, okay, bet. So, yeah, tag match for next week. Profits and the Dirty Dogs. 75. A lot of matches overachieving tonight. Dakota and Shotzi have a match. 8:08. Dakota wins when Shotzi gets distracted by Mia Yim on the Titantron. Like the Mia Yim, the message graphics would go off and Mia Yim's face would be up there. Just distracting Shotzi. And then a scorpion kick from Dakota takes Shotzi out, 1, 2, 3. So maybe Mia Yim was telling the truth when she said that she didn't attack Ember Moon last week because she's got issues with Ember. Maybe that was the truth, but she does appear to have issues with Ember's friend. 70 for Dakota, 58 for Shotzi. 75 overall, pretty good. After the match, Bianca comes to the ring and she's like, "Go, I'm here to beat your ass." Dakota's like, "Well, fuck." And then Bianca storms into the ring, takes the fight to Dakota. And yeah, but then Sonya Deville jumps her from behind and she takes her down and then ends up in a 2-on-1 assault. Like Sonya would hold Bianca up. Dakota would hit a big kick to take her down. And then Sonya Deville would hit her with her own move. But then get in the face of Dakota like, "Hey, we may be working well here, but every woman for herself at the pay-per-view, innit?" And then, not Dakota, Sonya just leaves with her title in the air. Dakota's in the ring, sort of like, okay. And yeah, Bianca's been laid out by both women here tonight. Backstage segment, Shinsuke approaches the Mean Girls locker room. He knocks on the door and they all come out and he's like, "Next week, me and you, Reggie, 1-on-1. And Reginald's like, "Pourquoi?" He's like, "I'm tired of this. You didn't do anything for me. You're trying to sabotage me. I don't know what you're gossiping about in here about me, but it's not going to distract me from being the United States champion. And to win my title, I need to get you out of my mind. So I'll do that by colliding my knee with Reggie's jaw next week." And then Shinsuke walks away and Reggie's like, "Well, shit." 74. This was a wild brawl. Ivar and Jacob Fatu. Jacob gets the win in 7:57 with a Samoan drop. 73 for Ivar and a 77 for Jacob Fatu. Yeah, 74 is pretty fucking good, to be fair. And then, of course, the Usos are at ringside with Jacob Fatu. They double super kick Eric, take him down at ringside. And they say, "Look at this, Us. Look at this sight. Jacob Fatu, Usos SmackDown Tag Team Champions. This family, this bloodline can't be breached. And we'll be the champions for as long as we damn well please." And you either get on board with that or you're going to get locked in the Uso penitentiary, Us. Because anyone who wants to take these titles from us, from our cold, dead hands, they'll have to do it, Us. Welcome to the Uso penitentiary. Talking Smack advertised. We're going to hear from the Viking Raiders, from Bianca Belair, and from Death from Above, who we haven't seen in a while, for a couple of weeks. So they're just going to remind people that they're still here and lay their groundwork out. With an 87 rated main event. That's not, well, it is the finish, but actually no, fuck it. Yeah, we will have Randy tap. Let's give Cesaro the proper rub here. So Cesaro makes Randy Orton tap out in 20 minutes to the sharpshooter, because during the match Randy's slapping the mat going for an RKO and the lights go out, and Scarlett's at ringside and she has a little hourglass on she doesn't turn it over yet, but she's there. She just puts it down, just smiles at Randy, and that of course distracts Randy and he gets locked in the sharpshooter and submits. So it will still be a 1-on-1 match, Joe versus Cesaro at the Bash. 91 for Randy, 86 for Cesaro. After the match, Samoa Joe, he storms out and he takes Cesaro down. He goes to choke him out, but Randy lays him out of an RKO, and then he turns around and Scarlett's in the ring with him, and she sort of just flips her hourglass over, and then the sand starts falling down as Randy looks on concerned. Cesaro and Joe would be brawling on the outside. Like, obviously, when Joe gets RKO'd, Cesaro would get back to his feet, and then when both men are back to their feet, they'd brawl on the outside, over the barricade and through the crowd or something like that, just to get them out of the sight, so they don't, A, just sit there on the floor, or B, get forgotten about. So, yeah, they clear the ring, they fight through the over the barricade, through the crowd, and then Scarlett and Randy have their little face-off. Vikings talk about how Jacob Fatu may have one-upped Ivar here tonight, but Fatu's not in the match at the Bash, and they're sick and tired of this Jacob Fatu nonsense in the first place. They're hiding behind him because they know they can't beat the Vikings 2-on-2, and that's a damn fact. And they're coming to raid those tag team championships at the pay-per-view. Death from Above Cynthia Crespo's got her boys on, and she's like, you know, I just saw those Vikings on air chatting about these tag team championships. Saw the Street Profits earlier on with the Dirty Dogs. They were talking about getting themselves back on track here on the SmackDown tag division. No mention of us. We seem to have been forgotten about. Can't imagine why that would be, but forgotten we won't be for much longer, because we are still here, and we're still two of the best high-flying boys in the business. And anyone who wants to face my men, they can remember that fact, because there's nobody that can do what they do. Not even the Mysterios. Bianca, she gets on there, she's angry, she snatches the microphone. It's like, nah, I'm sick of this bull crap, Kayla. Right? So 2 weeks in a row I've been double-crossed, double teamed by both these women who are supposed to be coming for my championship. This is a triple threat match, hun, not a handicap. I'll tell you what, I want to get my hands on both of you before the pay-per-view. So here's what we're going to do. If you two are so buddy-buddy, next week you two can team up against me and I'll find a tag team partner and we'll whip your ass. So that's the challenge Bianca's made. Yeah, let's see if they accept it. I'm sure they will. Show gets a 88, really good show, increased our popularity in 19 regions. But what matters more than the 88 is actually what you thought of the show. So let me know what you thought in the comments below, and I'll see you next time for Raw, which will be the go-home show for Bad Blood. See you then.